Good afternoon, everyone. Oh dear, that's a little bit poor. So I'm going to ask again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I really, truly appreciate it. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? There's so much about business, so many different areas that we can look at. And this afternoon, what I wanted to go through with you was why your business story matters. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself that wasn't in that. So I'm a success coach. It's really funny. It took me quite a while to get to this particular title. And my husband and I, who's with me, supporting me, thank you, David, is we always have this conversation about titles. They're not that important all the time because they never encompass everything that you actually do. So I'm a success coach and I'm a speaker. And my husband and I also have a business where we work with young people called Magnificent Generation, and that enables them to really find their own magnificence as such. And we give them tools and skills and strategies. We have a team that work with us. But the other thing for me around business is that I feel it's very important that people have the confidence to really move forward in their business. And then also that they have the systems and processes that encourage that confidence, that they can sit on to know that they can do really well. I also love life. Life is for living. And I think sometimes we can be very miserable around life. And yes, there are lots of curveballs that we get along the way, but life is for living. And so I love life. I want to enjoy it and I want to live my best life possible so I can leave on this world the best impact that I possibly can. So, why this topic? Why this session? The reason why your business story matters is because it's massively important to getting your market to buy into you. But it's also really important for getting other people to buy into you, to tell your market about you. There are always people who are evangelical around your business. And so it's not just about engaging that immediate client, but it's also engaging other people that you come in contact with through networking, because they will tell other people about you. So you really want to make sure that your business story is clear, that it's easy to understand, and that it's easy for somebody else to tell someone else about you and your business. So it's also, not there yet, nearly. It's also important, a really important part of pitching and selling. And sometimes in business, we want to talk a lot about all the different things that we do, but we don't really want to sell. And so I am going to kind of touch on that a little bit today. So it's important for your potential customers to be able to understand how what you do aligns with who they are and what they want for their lives and for their business. So I want to have a little bit of an icebreaker. I don't like to just do all the talking. I like for us to kind of have some interaction and for you to have interaction with each other. So what I'd like you all to do is three things. Number one is to find somebody that you don't know and tell them what your name is. That's the first thing. Tell them what you do, and then tell them what your best attribute is. Okay? So some of you are looking a little bit confused, and it's kind of after lunchtime, and it's been a long day, so I know you're feeling a little bit tired. So I want to invigorate you. So it's what your name is, what you do, and what your best attribute is. So let me give you an example. I would then say, hello, my name is Madeline McQueen. I'm a success coach and I work with business owners mainly. And my best attribute is my winning smile. There you go. Okay. So everybody has a story. So this is me when I was about maybe 6 or 7 in primary school. I am the youngest of 6 girls, which is challenging. And in order to stand out and in order to in order to be so different, we were known as the Chambers Girls. I'm originally from Leicester, and, you know, everybody knew a lot of people knew who we were. And I decided from very, very young that I wanted to stand out and that I wanted to create my own story in my own right, in my own name. And one of the things about being one of 6 girls is that you learn negotiation skills very, very quickly, because it's all, I'm sure those of you who know, it's all negotiation. And when I was 10, I came home from school and I ran upstairs. House was a bit quiet. Ran upstairs, and my father had been home sick, so it was great because he wasn't normally home when I got home from school, but he was in bed. And he had been ill for most of the week. And when I came home from school, I found out that my dad had had 2 strokes. And that day he went off to hospital, and I went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I realised the lights were on, which was very strange. And as I came out of my bedroom and downstairs, you know, shared, obviously 6 of us, I shared my room with maybe 3 of my sisters. And everyone said, the baby's up. I used to be called the baby's up. And I went downstairs and my mum found me, and that's when I found out that my dad had died. And at age 10, I learnt that life throws you curveballs. But it's not the curveball that it throws you. It is how you respond to it that makes the biggest difference. So through that, I learnt resilience. So negotiation, resilience. So very young, I was kind of getting all the skills that I needed for the kind of career that I started on. I went into... went back to school, and I worked, and I found myself in McDonald's, which a lot of people think, oh, McDonald's. But, you know, I learnt so much in McDonald's. What I learnt in McDonald's was I learnt about systems and processes that are repeatable. And there's a book called The E-Myth, which is very much about their story and how you can make systemize your business so that it is repeatable, so that it's not just about you. You can upscale it. There's a very big difference between being self-employed and running a business. A big difference. Being self-employed is all me. It's all on me. There's nobody else. It's just me. Running a business is making sure you have systems, processes, and teams that you work with so that actually you can step away from your business and your business will still work. And I learnt a lot in McDonald's, and so happened to get the Employee of the Year within 6 months. Moving on, I went into customer service, and I met this young man in Milton Keynes. He was from London. I was from Leicester. We met in the middle. And what was really interesting is I decided, after 4 years of sort of dating, I decided to move to London. And I didn't have a job. But in 2 weeks of being in London, I got myself a job. And I went for a job for customer service. But they made me take a psychometric test. And that psychometric test said that I came out as the ideal salesperson. So they said, you know what, we're going to give you the sales job. And I did well. And I remember sitting in church at 14 years old, before I'd moved to London, before I'd met my husband, and saying, you know what, when I get to 30, I want to got married, I want to have my first child, and I want to be in a position of management. I got to 30, I was married, I had my first child, I was in a position of management. And one of the things I learnt was that actually, you know, the Bible says, without the vision, the people perish. You need to have a vision of where you want to go. And you don't even need to know exactly how you want to get there. But you need to be clear, very clear about where you want to go. Because the how somehow seems to reveal itself. And planning is very, very important. But you have to know that sometimes the best laid plans don't always work out. Because there are other things that happen. But when you're clear about where you want to go, you'll get there. And I learnt so much on this journey. My story, I haven't got the time to tell you everything that I've experienced. But, I went into sales. I was in IT sales for quite some time. And I was successful. In the year 2000, when there was that massive, massive challenge that we all thought, the world was almost possibly going to end, the world of computers. I sold the most Toshiba laptops. And Toshiba, I didn't even know. It was just announced. I didn't know I had been doing this. And Toshiba sent myself and my husband away to Dubai, I did this £2 million contract. And in the back of my head, I kept saying, this isn't all I can do. I know I can do more. I know I'm destined for greatness. I know that my story is going to be something substantial. So, you know, I'm married to a successful speaker, and sometimes you can feel quite, sort of little challenge sometimes, like, do I have enough value? Do I have a uniqueness? And one of the things I'm going to say to you today is about owning your value, owning that uniqueness, and being different. So over the years, I've helped my husband build his business. We've built businesses together. And what we've learned is that it takes negotiation skills, it takes resilience, it takes having a clear vision, it takes planning, it takes taking time out away from your business so that your brain can operate in the background. And it also takes being very, very clear about your business story, but not just your business story, your own personal story, because everything you do has an impact on where you go and how you get there. I found that my passion is in helping people in business build their confidence and to use their story and systems and processes. And you can see all the things that I learned on my journey are all the things that now I use to help other people get where they want to go. Oh, no, back a bit. Everyone has a story. And if you're in business, then whether you believe it or not, you have a business story. And that story really, really does matter. And what you need to start asking yourself is, what is it about your story that makes you stand out from the rest? You see, this story that you have is what you use to engage with people. People don't always want to know the technical aspects of your product or your service. They really want to buy you. People buy people at the end of the day. That's what they do. They buy people. How many of you have walked into a store, maybe you wanted to buy something and you knew what you wanted to buy, but what happened was the sales assistant ignored you, or the sales assistant was a little bit rude and dismissive? How many of you put the item back and walked out and looked somewhere else? Okay. I have. I do that in one of the shoe shops all the time in Watford. I could be standing with the shoe in my hand, like, I want to buy this, and be ignored. That says a lot to me. I can put it back. I'm going to go online. There are so many different choices these days that how you treat people and how you interact with people makes a massive difference to whether or not they will buy you. People buy people. So, your story matters because your story feeds into your strategy, and your strategy feeds into your success. So it's very, very important that you start to understand, what is it? How have you got where you wanted to go? Last year I did some work for Virgin Startups, and they had this Virgin Wow conference for women in business. And one of the things that they asked me to do as part of my presentation, before it actually happened, was to speak to somebody who'd won the opportunity to sell, or should I say, to pitch their business to, I'm just checking time here, to pitch their business to the head of buying for Ocado and one of the a journalist for a major newspaper. Now, it was really interesting as I spoke to her, and she read her pitch to me, and I thought, And it was interesting, don't get me wrong. But I said to her, and she had this snack bar. It was a snack bar for basically for women, for people who wanted to lose weight. And I said to her, okay, it's all really good and well, but why did you decide to get up one day and create the snack bar? And then she told me her story. She told me that she'd, always kind of been trying to lose a bit of weight, but the thing that had always railroaded her was that she could do meals, but she could never do her snacks. The snacks were always a problem. And because the snacks were always a problem, she'd end up eating crisps or this or that or the other that just wasn't helpful. She decided that what she wanted to do was create a snack that was helpful. And that was how... Why is this not in your pitch? most women can relate to that. I mean, how many of you can, I can relate to that, finding a snack that is going to make a difference. Right, okay, so, and it's like every woman who listens to this would actually be able to relate to it. And the people that you're pitching to are women. And so she changed her story. And suddenly, included in her pitch, how she got here, instantly they could relate to why her product was necessary, why it was necessary for them, and she now sells her product at Ocado. And so what I wanted to remind you is your story can influence your strategy, and it then influences your success. Life's a pitch. So my background is in sales, and as I said to you before, often I speak to people and they talk about their business, and then I say, okay, talk to me what about your sales? I don't like to sell. I don't like selling. I don't like selling at all. I don't want to sell to anybody. I don't want to talk. I don't like doing that. No. Oh no, I'll just put my website up and I'll just send out some emails. And I was like, hold on. Again, as I said, people buy people. If you are in business, you need to sell. And if you don't believe me about selling, let me tell you something. You sell every single day. How many of you have got friends? Surely. If not, add me on Twitter. Okay, I'll be your friend. You've all got friends. Now, what happened along the line is that you sold yourself to your friend. And they sold themselves to you. You bought each other, okay? And now you skip down the road holding hands, okay? You guys are selling on a daily basis to friends, to business colleagues, to people that you are at school, in work, sorry. If you're thinking about something like going for an interview, so some of you may not be in business, you may work for somebody, you sold yourself in that interview. And you need to get used to the fact that sales is part of your life and sales is part of your story. It is the case. We always have this thing where we say, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. Now, you choose your friends based on the attributes and the things that they have done, that they have presented to you, that align with you. And so you bought into them. And you're doing it all the time. And a sale always happens. So when you go and somebody sits down with you and maybe presents their business and you say, I don't know if I really want it. You sell to them your no. You sell your no all the time. Just like you may say yes, your no is also you selling the fact that you don't want what they're offering. There is a sale that happens all the time. And if you're in business, you need to get very used to it. Life is a pitch, and people buy from people they like. So, this one is one that really always keeps coming up in business. Okay, so what do you charge? Oh, well, I don't know. If you don't own your value, no one else will. You cannot get where you need to go if you don't charge, or if you're not charging enough. If it doesn't cover your costs, okay, then you are not running a business. You're running a loss, okay? It's important that you charge your worth, and it's important that you own your value. And as I said, I'll say it and I'll say it and I'll say it again, and you'll see it on my Twitter feed. If you don't own your value, no one else will. Because let's be honest, we all love a bargain. We all want to get something for nothing. We all want to get something for less at the end of the day. And if we can get it for less, often we will. So it's really important that you own your value, and in owning your value, that what you do is create value so that people can clearly see why you're worth the price that you're charging. Okay. Belief. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you have been given, the gifts that God has given you. Believe in them. And again, I always say this, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. We like to buy from people who are confident, who seem to be clear about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they're doing it. If you're not clear, then I'm not sure I really want to buy from you. That's why you need to get clear about your story, Clear about what you offer, clear about how you offer it, how much it costs, and how capable you are of delivering it. This is all part of your business story. So make sure you're very clear. And then make your offering, make your story unique, and make your business offering special. Because the truth is, there is somebody out there who does what you do. But they don't do it like you do it. They don't do it with the back history that you have and everything that you've learnt along the journey. So make sure that when you're out there, it's unique, your story is unique, it's clear, and that what you offer is, again, special. That I want it. I want it because I can see how it will make a difference for me. Sometimes what we forget in our hurry as business owners and just as people in general is to engage and to actually relate what we do. How many people have you heard they've got this great business idea and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this and they're doing the other, and you think, what's in it for me? How's that going to work for me? It doesn't make any sense. It's important that on your journey and as you wield your story, you are always thinking about your customer and how your customer is going to engage and relate to what you offer. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't relate to me, if I can't see how it works for me, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not. That's lovely, but it doesn't relate to me. People buy from people they like at the end of the day. And I need to know, it's like the lady with her healthy bar. The minute you relate your healthy bar to how it's going to help me and my own story, then actually I suddenly see the value in your healthy bar. And that works for every aspect of business. All of these things are really very much about things that start to impact and influence your story. You know, things that you've done, positive things, things that you've overcome, that you've turned around and into something that was very positive, and how you've used that to be able to now grow and build what you do, who you are, and how you're seen. So that's wonderful. So my time here with you has come to an end, and I just want to go through the final points with you, if I can find them. Okay, so remember, your story matters to your success. It's a key to your success because, as I've said, people buy people. And when you're clear about you and your story and what you've done and how your life has impacted where you are now, it's so much easier then for you to impart that to other people. You can do this. Yes, business has its challenges, but you know what? It's not insurmountable because we're all human and we've all got skill sets. And if somebody else could do it, then so can you. My nephew didn't do very well with his A-levels and he had to start all over again. But he realised he was trying to live somebody else's life. And his dad said to him, you know, you're really into music. If other people can make a success out of a musical career, then why can't you? And he goes, do you know what? And he's now, you know, he got into university in Liverpool, you know, he's doing really well, he gets gigs all the time, you know, he's producing. There's so many things that he's now doing that actually, if he had just stayed on the path, he just never would have achieved. So you can do this. Promote yourself in lots of different ways. There isn't just one way to do this. And we're in a world where there are so many different opportunities to promote yourself. Life is a pitch. And sales is crucial to your business. If you're not selling, you're not in business. Because at the end of the day, those sales coming in is what brings you money into your business, means you can invest and grow and live. Remember to include what we say is with him. What's in it for me from your customer's point of view? Ensure that you include that in your story and weave it into your story. And then ask, and ask again. over and over again. It's funny, we're just having a conversation, and even if you work for somebody else, if you're not asking for the opportunities and putting yourself forward, you kind of sooner or later become part of the furniture. Nobody notices you anymore. You know, we've all gone to jobs where there's been somebody who's been in a job for like 10 years, they've never been promoted, they're miserable because they've never, and that's because they sat there expecting somebody to notice them. It doesn't happen. You have to ask. Lastly, and by no means least, I will say to you, be magnificent. Be magnificent. Dwell in excellence. Because, as I said, people buy people. And you know what? We were all created to be magnificent. And it's just the layer of labels of life that often keep us down. But be magnificent, because you are. Thank you very much.